So now we're going to keep going and we're going to go ahead and do the second example with T-test of when you don't have data. So GHC statistics teachers believe that the mean score on the third statistics test is greater than 72. Over the fall semester, they collected data on 50 students who had an average of 75 with a standard deviation of 10. They perform a hypothesis test using the 5% level of significance and assume that the data is from a normal distribution. Is their claim true that the mean score on the third exam is greater than 72? Okay, so what test are we going to use? Again, we're going to use a t-test because the population standard deviation is unknown. So I need to state my null and my alternative hypothesis. So greater than means I'm going to use the greater than symbol. And if you go back and look at your chart, that greater than symbol can only be in the alternative hypothesis. So in my alternative hypothesis, I'm going to put that the mean is greater than 72. So that leaves my null as the mean is less than or equal to 72. Is it a right-tailed, two-tailed, or left-tailed test? It's right-tailed, and it's right-tailed because the greater than symbol is in the alternative hypothesis. So again, there's not a population standard deviation, so I'm going to run a t-test. Right, I was given a lot of information, and let's go ahead and look back on that and look at what I was given. All right, I was given that they believe that the population mean was greater than 72. So I know it's greater than 72. I was given a sample mean of 75, sample standard deviation of 10, and a sample size of 50. And then again, a level of significance as 5%. With all that information, I can go to Minitab and solve this problem. So again, I have my data up from the first example, but I don't have to put any data in because I was given all my sample statistics. So what I'm going to do is go to Stat, Basic Statistics, One Sample T-Test. And now I'm going to change this from one or more samples to summarized data. My sample size was 10. My sample mean was 75. Excuse me, my sample size was 50. My sample mean was 75, and my sample standard deviation was 10. Okay, you saw I made that error, so just make sure that you have everything labeled when you put it in. Again, sample size is 50, sample mean is 75, and sample standard deviation is 10. I'm going to click Perform Hypothesis Test, and I'm going to put in 72. I go to Options, and again, my confidence level is 95% because my level of significance was 5%. My alternative hypothesis, again, I wanted to know if it was greater than, so I'm going to go here and click on Mean is greater than hypothesized mean. I hit OK, and I hit OK. And I'm given a bunch of information. Again, my sample size is 50. My sample mean is 75. Sample standard deviation is 10. And then here I have my null and alternative hypotheses. These might look a little different in the null, but go with what we've been teaching you as to account for every scenario that can happen within hypothesis testing. All right, my t-value for this one is 2.12, and my p-value is 0.019. So I have everything I need to answer the question. So I'll go back to the PowerPoint and we'll finish this up. So again, I have the output. So then let's go answer the questions. My t-test statistic is 2.12. My p-value is 0.019. So I need to compare it to my level of significance. So 0.019 is less than 0.05 because if I'm comparing, 0.01 is less than 0.05. Because it's less than, I'm going to reject my null. And again, it was because my p was smaller than my alpha. So because I'm rejecting my null, I'm actually finding that it was greater than 72. So at the 5% level of significance, There is sufficient evidence to show that the mean test score is greater than 72. So again, think about it. I said that my null hypothesis was false, so that means my test score was greater than 72.